Next article I wanted to look at is titled Preacher Andrew Wommack, Trans Rights Supporters Are Controlled by the Devil, quote unquote. This is by Beth Stoneburner on the Friendly Atheist website, so let's give it a read and see what it says. Preacher Andrew Wommack, who most recently claimed he prayed away mildew in his home, now says that people who affirm rights for transgender people are following a doctrine from Satan. He made the comments during a Bible study Tuesday night. So let's watch this clip and see what he had to say.
You know, this is something that's very politically incorrect and will be, a lot of people will find this to be upsetting, but I tell you, the things that are happening in our nation, it is a doctrine of the devil. It's not just people with a different opinion.
Okay. Let's figure this out. Now, first of all, I don't believe the devil is real. I think he's completely fucking fabricated, and anybody who believes in him is kind of a sucker, in my opinion. But, you know, he made a claim here. Let's feel it out and figure out exactly what it is he's talking about that's a doctrine of the devil. Let's get specific.
Doctrine of the devil. It's not just people with a different opinion. It's not just some people have a different take on things. It is literally doctrines of the devil. They are taking children as young as 4 and 5 years old and telling them that you were born in the wrong body. You're actually a woman in a man's body, or a man in a woman's body.
Nobody's doing that. Nobody's taking children of that age and telling them anything. I haven't heard a word about that. I'm sure somewhere out of the 7 billion people on the planet, somebody has probably done that before. Everything that happens in the U.S. related to trans issues goes through a doctor, goes through the scientific method, the scientific process.
Or a man in a woman's body, and they are surgically altering them and giving them hormone blockers and stuff.
No. You said 4 or 5 years old? That's not happening. That is not taking place. Why would anybody give a 4-year-old surgery or hormone blockers to affirm their trans identity? I don't know of any cases of anybody at 4 or 5 years old who came out as trans like that. I've never heard of that before. He's completely fabricating the situation, and he is exaggerating it to make it seem scarier than it is.
Them and giving them hormone blockers and stuff. I'm telling you, this is not just a different opinion, somebody that has a little...
No, it's fucking fabricated. It's not a different opinion. It's not real. It's not happening.
Different way of looking at things. It is a doctrine of demons. It is demonic.
What brings him to that conclusion? What makes him think it's demonic? What makes him think Satan is involved in anything at all? Does he have any proof of that, or is he just making that shit up too?
People who are doing it are being influenced and controlled by the devil.
Nobody's doing that. That is not something that happens in the United States. I don't have any examples of it happening anywhere. Now, he's making a claim here. He's claiming 4 or 5-year-olds are surgically altered. They're told that they are a different gender. They are surgically altered to affirm that, and they're given hormone blockers and hormone therapy. 4 or 5 years old. He made that claim. Until he provides evidence for that claim, I'm calling bullshit. I want to see evidence for it. He has the burden of proof here. I have not seen a lick of evidence.
These are doctrines of demons. That a man can just choose to be a woman. He can choose to go into a woman's restroom because...
Love it. Choose to be a woman, huh? Choose to be a woman. Sounds really similar to somebody can choose to be gay to me, right? Isn't that really, really fucking familiar? Isn't that the same bullshit we've been hearing for the past 50 years about the LGBT community? They can just choose to be a woman.
That a man can just choose to be a woman. He can choose to go into a woman's restroom because he feels like a woman today.
No. Adding the word today at the end implies that it's something that people just come up with one day and change their mind about the next. To legally be considered a different gender, you can actually get your birth certificate changed to reflect that, it turns out. I did not know that. But you have to go through a big, long, complex process to get that done. You have to talk to doctors and work with them and go through all kinds of difficult procedures and take hormones and stuff for a certain period of time before you're considered, legally speaking, a different gender. It's not just like, oh, today I feel like this, tomorrow I may not. It's not like that. This is a scientific process that's been scientifically studied, and he's trying to make it out like we may as well not even have segregated bathrooms, which, by the way, I wish we didn't. That's an issue that I would like to see raised more often. We shouldn't have segregated we shouldn't have segregated bathrooms. They have ways of desegregating bathrooms in other countries. We should have that exact thing here. But he's doing his best to obfuscate and propagandize and confuse the issue as usual.
Is nothing but an excuse for perverts. It's wrong. It is a doctrine of devils. And I know a lot of people can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm not saying anything that the Word of God isn't saying.
A lot of people can't believe I'm saying this. He's saying this as though his entire audience isn't already on board with him. This guy is extreme far-right conservative pastor. That's what he is. His audience is not in any way, shape, or form left-wing. This is the persecution complex coming up again. He's trying to make it out as though he's persecuted for his beliefs, and the country is just mad, and there are people who even listen to me who believe otherwise.
It's a doctrine of devils.
Listen.
And I know a lot of people can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm not saying anything that the Word of God isn't saying.
He desperately wants people to believe that we're the persecuted minority. We're the ones who are attacked for our belief and our faith and our ideas. We're mistreated. That's what he wants. It makes people more enthusiastic. It makes people more excited about going to his church. It makes them trust him more because they have an enemy to fight. He's pointed them in the right direction.
It is demonic, and it is a doctrine of the devil. Now, I will admit this. There are some people who are being influenced by just going with the crowd. They are just following the flow, and they may not be demon-possessed, and they may not be themselves being totally controlled by the devil, but it is a doctrine of the devil. They are following that. But I think that a lot of the people who are in the leadership of this, they know exactly what they're doing.
See, this is the most toxic shit, man. Listening to this guy say that people are controlled by Satan, this is the exact same shit that I hear from Jehovah's Witnesses regularly about apostates. They believe that apostates are evil and controlled by Satan and mentally diseased, quote unquote, mentally diseased. That's what Jehovah's Witnesses say about me, about you. That is good versus evil, black and white, us versus them thinking. Making somebody the enemy and pointing at them and ostracizing them and claiming that you are persecuted by them. Let's read the article by Beth Stoneburner. This is a quote from the clip we just watched. It's not just some people who have a different take on things. It's literally doctrines of the devil. And they're surgically altering them and giving them hormone blockers and stuff. It is demonic, and the people who are doing it are being influenced and controlled by the devil. This is Beth Stoneburner. Fact check. No one is surgically altering children. You have to be over 18 to do that. There are also multiple ways to transition that don't require surgery. Every individual is different, but rest assured, no trans person was ever pressured into it. This is a quote from the video again. That man can just choose to be a woman. He can choose to go in a woman's restroom because he feels like a woman today. That is nothing but an excuse for perverts. There are some people who are being influenced by just going with the crowd. They're just following the flow, and they may not be demon-possessed, and they may not be themselves being totally controlled by the devil, but it's a doctrine of the devil. They're following that. This is Beth Stoneburner again. He's perpetuating a lie the conservative Christians have been spreading for years. This notion that people just flip a switch to change genders in order to satisfy some temporary perversion. That's not how anything works. If a predator sneaks into a restroom that he shouldn't be in with the intent to cause harm, then he is indeed a predator. Trans people just want to pee in peace. If anything, they're more likely to be victims of violence than perpetrators. That's very true. And FYI, it's already illegal to go into a bathroom and take advantage of somebody or abuse somebody or whatever. That's illegal. If somebody intends to do something illegal, they're going to do it anyways. There's nothing that's going to stop them from doing it. And this bit about changing genders to pretend to be a woman to go into the women's room, it's just a fabricated bullshit claim that has absolutely zero evidence to it. This is Beth Stoneburner. You're not required to fully understand or agree with trans identities, but trans rights ensure that no one can be fired, denied housing, or medical care based on who they are. Those are rules that apply to the government, not the church. And they're the same basic rights afforded, in theory anyway, to all Americans, not special rights for trans people. That's where the saying trans rights are human rights comes from, and I 100% agree with it. Decency and compassion do not require compromising one's faith. The fact that people like Womack think they're in conflict says more about their faith than anyone's gender identity.